4:37. I'm calling this meeting to order of the Champaign-Urbana Public Health District. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Kyle Patterson.
Here.
Samantha Carter.
Here.
Danielle Chenoweth.
All right. We have the election of chair and secretary. So I'll open the floor for nominations for chair.
Since Danielle's gone, you can have her do both.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to nominate Danielle Chenoweth for chair.
Second.
All right. All those in favor for Danielle Chenoweth serving as chair? Aye. Danielle Chenoweth is elected chair.
Is everyone acting?
All right, secretary. I will nominate Samantha Carter for secretary.
Okay, so I'll just take notes as secretary.
I don't have to do that.
No, you don't have to do that.
You just have to be here to vote on, to sign things if it's,
Okay.
Yes.
Does the secretary fill in when the president's not present?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll
So you
second
might
that.
have to share.
All right, all those in favor, Samantha Carter as secretary? Say
Aye.
Aye. All right, election of treasurer. I will move to elect Ron Fields as treasurer.
Second.
I think actually he probably gets appointed. Oh, well, it says election of treasurer, you're right.
Oh,
So, I'm sorry.
okay. All right, seeing no other nominations, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, Ron Fields is elected treasurer. So that was the annual meeting, and I call for the adjournment of the annual meeting. Now I call to order the Board of Health monthly meeting. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Kyle Patterson.
Here.
Samantha Carter.
Here.
Danielle Chenoweth.
All right, could I have a motion for the approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
That passes. Next, we have approval of the minutes of the previous meetings. March 13th, 2024, monthly meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Discussion. All those in favor? That passes. Public participation. Is any members of the public like to participate? Everybody works here. All right, moving on to correspondence. Does anybody have any correspondence? All right, seeing no correspondence. Old business, there's no old business. New business, a presentation by CUPHD, financial audit for year ended June 30th, 2023.
All right, can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, my name is Lindsay Fish. I am a partner at CUPHD. I think I need to join you at your meeting this afternoon to present to you the results of your audit as of ended June 30th, 2023. As a part of the audit, we issued a couple different. Tonight, we'll focus on your annual financial statements. What I'll do is I'll cover an opinion that was issued as a result of the audit. I'll go over a few financial highlights, our single audit opinions, and then we'll be happy to answer any questions. Feel free to ask any questions throughout or at the end as well. Either way works for me. So I'll get on your annual financial statements. I don't know if you have them in front of you. I will just page numbers as I go through things in case you do want to follow along. So we'll start on page numbers on CUPHD letterhead. This is your independent auditor's report. Step down within that independent auditor's report has our opinion. So in our opinion, statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the companies, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of Champaign-Urbana Health of June 30th, 2023. What that means is that we have issued a clean opinion on the district's financial statements. That is the highest level of assurance, so congratulations to the health district on the receipt of that unmodified opinion. A couple things I like to highlight within your independent auditor's report. Bottom of the page talks about the responsibilities of management for the financial statements. So just a reminder here that is ultimately responsible for the preparation and presentation of these financial statements and principles generally accepted in the United States of America. And then on page number, just talks about the auditor's responsibilities. So our objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance, financial statements are free of material misstatement, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinions. From there, I'm going to flip to your statement of net position. This starts on page 5. I always say that the statement of net position is kind of like a 10,000-foot view of the district's financials. The reason I say that is because it's kind of different than the monthly financial seeing, because this pulls in any capital assets as well as any long-term debt district that isn't generally reported on a month-to-month basis. So you'll see on your statement of net, in the middle of the page there under liabilities, you have some non-current liabilities. Due in more than 1 year, liability of about 3.6 million. So those liabilities that you're seeing there are related to the compensated absences liabilities. Your leases payable, the largest portion there is your IMRF net pension liability. Your total net position is about 16 million. Of that, 6.7 million was your unrestricted capital assets. And then you have net position that's restricted for various reasons. So you 1,000 restricted for IMRF, 44,000 restricted for audit, 207 restricted for insurance, and then the remaining balance of 8.6 million is unrestricted. The next page, page number 5, is your statement of activities. Again, this is on that 10,000-foot view of your financials. Just wanted to highlight here your change in. This is on page 6. Third line up from the bottom there shows your change in net position. Had a 1.5 million increase in that position, so you went from about 14.5 million to about 16 million this year. The next page is your balance sheet for your governmental funds. So this is probably a little more similar to what you're used to look. Does not include any long-term debts, does not include any long-term assets of the district. There's a column for your general fund, and then there's a column called non-major governmental funds, so that aggregates the remains of the district in that singular column. And then towards the back of the report, there's a little bit more detail to what makes up those non-major governmental funds. We'll focus on your general fund here. At June 30th, 2023, you had an ending fund balance of about 8 million. Of that, a small portion of that was considered non-spendable because it was in the form of inventory. You had a portion of that next year's budget, so if you use unbalanced to balance next year's budget, we'll show that for next year's budget. And then the remaining balance is unassigned, and that was 4.9 million of fund balance. If you look at your unassigned fund balance and you compare that to your annual expenditures, you'll see you've got about 4 months worth of operating reserves within that unassigned balance. From there, page number 9 is your for your various funds, so same format. There's a column for general fund, a column for your non-governmental funds, and then a total column. So your general fund increased 1.3 million. The major governmental funds increased 132,000 for overall 1.4 increases within your governmental funds. Just would like to highlight, start 11 is your notes to the financial statements. So this includes a summary of spending policies for the district, also includes further detail as far as what's in capital asset balances, what's included within your long-term debt as well. I flip back in the report now to page number 34. This is your changes in your net pension liability. I always think this is an interesting schedule to highlight here. This is based upon December 31st, 2022 data, as IMRF's fiscal year end is December 31st. You went from having a pension asset last year to the tune of about 4 million to a net pension liability this year. of 2.6 million. The biggest reason for that change from the asset to the liability is essentially market performance. So your employer contributions that you send to IMRF are generally, so when you have market declines, your net position that you have IMRF decreases. However, still in a really great funding position, page 35, 2022 column, you're 91% funded. Very solid, strong position, place to be in, even with that, market drawdown. So you'll see that probably flipping back over to a net pension asset here in the coming years as well. That is my comments on the financial statements. Now I'm just gonna give you a few comments on a couple of opinions that are included towards the back of the report. So this one that I'm looking at, number 40. This is our report on internal control over financial reporting. This opinion is required to be included within the district's audit due to the level of state and federal district spend. So when you have greater than $750,000 of spending, you're required to have a single audit on an annual basis. So we have two opinions that are included here. Page number 41, just want to highlight a couple items in here. We did not identify any deficiencies in internal control that we consider to be material weaknesses. We also had no instances of non-compliance over financial report. Page number 42 is another opinion. This is our compliance for each major program that we test. Page number, the last line there just notes that we did not identify any deficiencies in internal control to be material weaknesses. But on page number 44, we had one item as a finding this year during the audit that was considered to be a significant deficient. Over that finding in just a moment here. Page number 49, the findings in question costs. I think this is just like a good summary of the results of your single audit. Internal control over financial reporting. We had no material weaknesses, significant deficiencies, and no non-compliance. And then for your federal awards, no material weaknesses, deficiency was noted. Did issue unmodified opinions on both of those. So that is the level of assurance we can provide with those unmodified opinions. Page shows the findings that were reported as a result of the audit. So the finding this year was 7 out of the 40 expenses tested were just missing, that was documented on time cards. And just this is a significant deficiency just due to the number of our sample that we had noted this year. And then page number 51 is the corrective action plan. So Mandy puts together the action plan and just details out what her plan is to make sure that this finding is rectified. Overall, it was a pretty clean audit, great process, Mandy and just really great to work with, so we appreciate their help during the audit process as well, so just wanted to big shout out. That concludes my presentation, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
No questions.
Okay, and yeah, something later or anything comes up, Andy knows how to get a hold of us, so we'd be happy to answer anything if it does come. I know it's a lot to digest in a 5-minute condensed presentation.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and before we move on, I should acknowledge that we just held a new election and the chair is not here, so the secretary should actually be chairing the meeting. We are on item G2, the treasurer's report. You just hand it over, Ron.
Right here.
Yeah. No, on the first page, the last item. But you'll just hand it over to Ron.
Oh, treasurer's report.
Yep.
And annual plan.
Yep, and as of the end of April, as of the end of February 2024, we had cash on hand at just over $7 million, $7,077,362. The total fund balance was just under $7.5 million, representing 41% of the budget expenditures for the year. And that's within the guidelines of a range of 20 to 50% of the annual expenditures available in cash. We ended the 8th month of the fiscal year with a deficit of $1,371,010, but that's still $574 ahead of what would be the year-to-date budget. Our total budget is $8.4 million, and our operating deficit budgeted is $2,785,197. The total revenue for the first 8 months of the year was just over $10 million, which is $361,183 under the year-to-date budget. Mostly the under the year-to-date budget is grants and contracts of $358,000 and fee for services under budget by $86,885. Expenditures for the first 8 months of the year were a total of $1.4 million, which is $935,000 under year-to-date budget for the fiscal year, mostly due to personnel at $490,000. Contracts were under year-to-date budget by $272,000, patient care by $111,000, supplies under budget by almost $250,000, capital outlay under budget by $144,681.
Yeah.
Administrator Julie Pride. Ratifications for film development.
Oh, no, you do the top one first, the treasurer's payment. Yeah, we did that whole item. This is different than what you used to.
Okay. Approval of the payments to Board of Health appointees. A, Treasurer Ron Fields, March 2024, services in the amount of $619.20. Check request number 88486.
So moved.
Second. Administrator Julie Pride.
We have to,
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
aye.
Anyone opposed? That passes. Next item. Item B, Administrator Julie Pride, ratification for film development in the amount of $17.78. Expense sheet number 6644.
Question, it's like film development like the 90s.
Yes, I have to tell you what happened, now that you just, so what happened is, I got a cabinet open, it's been locked for 15 years, roughly. The cabinet opened up, and there was a roll of film in there, and there was a camera in there. So I had to figure out how to get it in, I took it into Walgreens, it's such a long story. Eventually it came back, and there was nothing on it. And I'm not gonna say I wasn't scared, waiting for it to come back. So yes, that took like probably 2 months, and it cost $70.
Wow.
Can I get a motion to?
So moved.
I'll second. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion? Everybody in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion carries. The next item is review of monthly credit card statements. Julie, is there anything?
Is there any questions or anything? Do you guys have any questions or anything about it?
Oh,
No? Okay.
Okay, approval of agreement with 5 Foot Productions for Cultural Health Prize in the amount of $300 per month with optional deliverable add-ons at $250 per month. Is there a motion?
so moved.
Second? All in favor, or is open for
Discussion.
Yeah, open for discussion?
I'll just tell you what that is real quick. That is, I have hired, in theory, we're getting ready to hire a videographer to help us put together some little videos of some of the things that we do specifically around the gardens and all the stuff, not just us, but in the community. We're gonna submit for a Robert Wood Johnson's Culture of Health Prize, but I also want that person to stay on and keep filming little things for us and help us put together something, because in 2027 is our 90th anniversary of CUPHD, so I want something, gotta get moving on that.
Awesome.
Didn't seem like it was just the 70th, I swear.
Is there any questions or further discussion?
No.
All right, moving right along. Oh,
Ask for approval.
okay, can I get approval?
So moved, or, yes, aye.
Aye. That passes. Next item, approval of Zobrio renewal for Financial Edge NXT 4-user annual subscription in the amount of $18,946 per year, with a 3-year commitment in the total amount of $56,838.
So moved.
I second. Open for discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. Next item, approval of check request number 8374, payable to Credible Mind for Behavioral Health 360 Program implementation fee in the amount of $5,455. Is there
So moved.
motions? I'll second that. Open for discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? That passes. Number 8, approval of requisition, number 8447, payable to Awards Limited Stamps Direct for promotional marketing items in the amount of $5,958.50.
So moved.
Second. Open for discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Aye. Those opposed? That passes. Number 9, approval of check request number 8504, payable to Dental Images Technology Corporation for service agreement Nomads for a contract period of April 24, 2024 to June 10, 2025, and sensors for a contract period of June 11, 2024 to June 10, 2025 in the amount of $6,575. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, open for discussion? Open for discussion, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That passes. Number 10, approval of check request number 8510, payable to Urbana School District number 116 for USDA F2S grant sub-awarded in the amount of $11,531.35.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Open for discussion. That passes. Number 11, approval of advertising contract with CUMTD with syphilis ads in the amount of $6,880.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Open for discussion. Okay, that passes. Number 12, discussion of recruitment for full-time dentists.
Yeah, So what happened is we're losing Dr. Kara. She's going to resign. She's been here for a long time, much loved dentist, and we are going to recruit. We are right up against everybody else recruiting, including Francis Nelson. So we would like to offer a $5,000 signing bonus if we can get one on here for a couple of years. We don't have the details of it yet, but that's the direction we would like to go. And since we don't normally do that, we don't normally have to do that, but.
Gotta stay competitive.
Yep. So that was what that was on there for. We will, when we get ready to hire somebody, then we'll bring the details, but we would just like to be able to offer that.
Okay. Any questions, further discussion? Okay. Let's see. Number 13, approval of 2023 annual report.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. Number 14, approval of CUPHD staff accommodations for the 2024 conference on adolescent health.
So moved.
Second, open for discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? That passes. Number 15, approval of contract between CUPHD and Rafi.
Here, we don't know. We don't know how to say that.
Okay, Rafi LDDS LLC for East Central Illinois HIV Care Connect Oral Health Services from 4/1/24 to 3/31/25.
So moved.
Second, open for discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. Number 16, approval of contract between CUPHD and Carl Foundation Hospital for East Central Illinois HIV Care Connect Laboratory Services from 4/1/24 through 3/31/25.
So moved.
Second, open for discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That carries. Number 17, approval of contract between CUPHD and Houston Community Memorial Hospital for East Central Illinois HIV Care Connect Laboratory Services from 4/1/24 through 3/31/25.
So moved.
Second, open for discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That carries. Approval, number 18, approval of contract between CUPHD and Carl Healthcare, Inc., DBA Carl Physician Group for East Central Illinois HIV Care Connect Medical Services from 4/1/24 through 3/31/25.
So moved.
Second, open for discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And that carries. Number 19, approval of contract between CUPHD and Carl Richland Memorial Hospital for East Central Illinois HIV Care Connect Laboratory Services from 4/1/24 through 3/31/25.
So moved.
Second, open for discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that carries.
And we'd like to defer number 20, please. We'll put it on the next meeting. It's not ready.
Okay. So I need to make a motion.
Maybe a motion to defer and then a second, and that doesn't have to be voted on, the deferral. Or it could simply be placed on the next agenda, but if you want an actual deferral, perhaps you can invite and ask if anyone would agree to defer at that point.
Okay, so,
I'll do the same thing, read number 20.
okay. Approval of revisions to PTO, PLAWA policy.
And then, one of the board members could say move to defer.
Okay.
I would move to defer.
And then do you want to second that?
I'll second that.
Then a deferral does not get a vote, and so then that'll be on the next month's agenda.
Okay.
And then you just read number 21.
Okay, number 21, pending grant contracts for administrator to sign.
And there's one, it's on the last. Let's see. Does anybody have a hard copy?
Yep, I do.
Okay, it's that last, should be, it's usually around the last.
Is that the East Central Care contract?
No, it's just a little, it's usually the very last page. There it is.
Oh,
Yeah. You can just read that.
Okay. Learning collaborative to enhance local health department capacity to serve Afghan, refugee, immigrant, and migrant communities. Amount $75,000. CUPHD Division WHP contract period March 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2024. Between CUPHD and NACCHO.
Any discussion?
Open for discussion.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? And that carries. All right, our next meeting, monthly meeting will be May 13th, 2024 at 4:30 p.m. And I call this meeting to adjournment, 5:09.
Good job.
Thank you.
I think you were gonna have this job today, didn't you?
Okay, I just got thrown right